as told by the elder Nwunya Ezi, keeper of the fire stories. Sit, child. Come closer to the fire. Let me tell you a tale older than the oldest yam barn in Umuoka. A tale of love, betrayal, and wind that danced like a bride. It is a story our people have whispered for generations. The story of Nanena, the bride who wore the wind. Nena was born on a night when the wind wept, and the stars blinked like anxious mothers. Her mother, Mama Agadi, was the village's finest weaver, known not just for her cloth, but for the way her loom whispered ancient chants while she worked. Some said the gods spoke through her threads. Nena grew into a woman with eyes like the first rainfall. Deep, clear, promising. Her laughter could untie knots in your spirit, and her voice had the rhythm of a moonlit drumbeat. But it was during the Akwamozu festival that the village truly saw her. A vibrant Igbo village festival. Men in Isiagu shirts and red caps. Women in George wrappers, coral necklaces, uli body markings. Palm trees and drums, dancers twirling, and a radiant young woman in a magical sheer wrapper that flows like the wind. She walked into the arena wearing a wrapper woven by her mother, a fabric so light, so enchanted that it moved without a breeze. It shimmered with tiny cowries and uli-painted borders, infused with the whispered blessing of Uhamiri, goddess of the river. Even the Igwe king paused mid-speech. His son, Prince Emeka, stared, not with love, but with possession. That evening, drums thundered and the Igwe raised his hand. "My son will take a bride at the next full moon," he declared. "Let the most worthy maiden prepare." The crowd cheered, but Nena felt her heart tighten like a knotted wrapper. She knew the prince's eyes had lingered too long. His reputation traveled faster than a talking drum. He was charming, yes, but spoiled, a snake with a crown. Her mother touched her shoulder. "Be careful, my child. Beauty can be both shield and snare." That night, as fireflies danced like ancestral spirits, a quiet knock echoed from their compound gate. It was Obinna, a palm wine tapper with shoulders like tree trunks and eyes that held silence like wisdom. He had no land, no titles, no beads, but he had love, pure and patient. "I will not let him take you," he said softly. "Come with me. We will flee to the sacred hills of Ekukwu. There, we'll marry under the eyes of the ancestors." Nena reached into her waist beads and pulled out a tiny anklet of cowries and red thread. "Wear this when you come for me," she said. "I will be waiting, wrapped in the wind." The night of the full moon came. The entire village was dressed in glory. Boys danced in masquerade masks. Elders drank palm wine thick as honey. The prince stood tall in gold-dusted wrapper, red cap, ivory staff. But Nena was missing. Meanwhile, Obinna climbed the sacred hill, anklet tied to his wrist. But when he reached the hilltop, he found not love, but 5 palace guards, armed with spears. "Seize the thief!" one shouted. Obinna fought like a spirit possessed. He knocked 2 to the ground, but a spear sliced into his ribs. Bleeding, he fled, disappearing into the sacred woods. Nena had been locked in a hut within the palace grounds. The prince had ordered it so. "She will be mine," he declared. "By sunrise, she will sit by my throne." But he did not know that the wrapper she wore held her mother's chants. Spells woven from generations of women who had loved, lost, and refused to be tamed. As he reached for her, the air grew still. Then the wind screamed. The wrapper lifted into the air, glowing. It spun like a whirlwind. The hut exploded outward. Thatched roof shredded, doors torn from hinges. The prince staggered back as Nena vanished into the wind. The wind carried Nena to the hilltop, where Obinna lay dying beneath the sacred Iroka tree. His breath was shallow, the anklet still clutched in his hand. "No," she whispered, kneeling. "Not after all we've promised." She pulled the wrapper from her waist, tore a piece from its edge, dipped it in his calabash of palm wine, and pressed it to his chest. Then she began to sing, her mother's chant. Let the wind remember, let the hills restore, let the earth forgive, bring my love back once more. The ground hummed, the wind circled them, softer now. Obinna's eyes fluttered, he gasped, and the wound, it closed, like lips after a truth has been spoken. The next day, Nena and Obinna walked back into Umuoka, hand in hand, barefoot, eyes fierce. The villagers stopped. The prince had fled in disgrace, terrified of the gods. The Igwe, shamed, handed over his staff and retired to a life of silence and kola nut offerings. And the people, they bowed before love. For once, truth had shouted louder than tradition. Nena and Obinna were married under the great Iroko, wearing nothing but coral beads and cloths blessed by the wind. The feast lasted 7 days. Now listen, child. To this day, when lovers meet on the sacred hill of Ekukwu, they tie cowries around their wrists and whisper to the wind. And if the wind lifts your wrapper without cause, it may just be Nena reminding you, love is not a crown, love is not a title, love is a promise, even in the shadows.